What's up, future millionaires? It's Mike the Investor. Now, in this video, I want to talk about a couple different things regarding the cryptocurrency space. Now, the first thing we're going to dive into is the overall price chart, just so we can see where things are, because we have recovered a little bit due to some of the news that have came out here recently. And then secondly, I want to actually dive into some of that bullish catalyst news that have come out and that I think could potentially upswing the cryptocurrency market to new all-time highs this year. And then thirdly, there is one thing that I think all investors should pay attention to, and this could potentially take the market to the downside, not only the crypto space, but also the stock market as well. And so before we go ahead and dive into all of that, definitely take advantage of grabbing some free Bitcoin by using the Voyager and BlockFi link down below, where you can earn passive income just for holding those cryptocurrencies on those platforms. But enough talking, let's jump into it. Alright, crypto investors, welcome back to the channel. Now, there are timestamps down below if you do want to look at some specific parts in this video, but let's briefly look at the overall price chart for the cryptocurrency space. Now, at the time of this video, and according to CoinGecko, we can see the market cap is around 2.2 trillion. It's currently up about 0.3%. And if we look at the 24-hour volume, around 114 billion, which is actually down a little bit. And then we have the dominance for Bitcoin at 40.7%. And then we have Ethereum around 18.1%. So as we briefly move down, we can see Bitcoin is over 48,000 at the time of this video, and we can see it is up on the 7-day over 12%. Ethereum is up over 16% at over $3,400. As we move down a little bit, look at Solana. It is up over 27% on the 7-day, and I definitely think we're going to see a little bit more of an upswing from Solana due to Grayscale adding it to that digital large cap fund, them and Uniswap. And so as we move down just a little bit briefly here, you can see we got Algorand starting to move up a little bit more as well. They're up close to 10% on the 7-day, and they're getting close to that $2 range. So as we can see, some of the top cryptocurrencies just in the past 7 days have started to increase quite a bit. Now, I still believe that Bitcoin is that segue to take the cryptocurrency market to that next step up, but seeing other cryptos moving up as well is definitely a positive sign. Now, let's go ahead and dive into some of the bullish catalysts that have come out for the cryptocurrency market that I definitely think can not only take Bitcoin to new all-time highs, but can take the entire cryptocurrency market to all-time highs before this year is out. And so let's go ahead and dive into the first piece. Okay, so if you haven't heard, the first news we're going to cover is when 𝗂𝗏 stated that he does not plan to ban cryptocurrencies. And we saw an immediate price jump when he made this statement. And so as we can see just briefly on this graph here for Bitcoin, we can see right here was the day before China declared cryptocurrency transactions were illegal. It was over 44,000, and when that was announced, it dropped down to 43,000. And now, as we can see, it dropped down even lower, and then now we are back all the way up to over that 48,000. But let's scroll down and see exactly what the Federal Reserve Chairman 𝗂𝗏 said exactly in this statement. And so here it is here. 𝗂𝗏 was asked whether he had an intention to ban or limit the use of cryptocurrencies similar to China. And he says no intention to ban them, but he added that stablecoins, which are cryptocurrencies whose value is tied to the government issued currencies such as the dollar, are like money market funds. They are like bank deposits, but they are some extent outside the regulatory perimeter, and it is appropriate that they be regulated. So right there, that tells us that 𝗂𝗏 doesn't plan to ban cryptocurrencies, but he also has a focus on regulating stable coins. And this is also a plus in my opinion. And so one of the next pieces of news that the crypto community is excited about is Iran buckles. They lift Bitcoin mining ban after 4 months. This is also bullish as well, because this definitely put a halt on a lot of things, and a lot of people panic when this actually happened. And so one other thing I want to briefly touch on is the El Salvador. They mined their first Bitcoin with volcanic energy, and we can see that almost 22% of country's power market is geothermal. And so let's briefly move down here just to kind of look at the highlighted parts. And so we can see El Salvador has officially mined the first Bitcoin, using volcanic energy. The president of El Salvador revealed, and there's a screenshot we're going to take a look at as well, showing that they did on Twitter. And we can see that this news follows the Salvadorian president's announcement earlier this week that the country was taking its first steps toward harnessing volcanic energy for Bitcoin mining, and now they have actually achieved it. And here's the tweet they made October 1st, talking about they have mined their very first Bitcoin. That's pretty impressive, and I definitely think that is bullish as well. Alright, so after looking at those news articles, that definitely gives positive catalyst to Bitcoin and the crypto space. There are two different charts I want to show you. The first one's going to be institutional flows, which are definitely bullish, and then the second chart I'm going to show you is Bitcoin's monthly returns leading all the way back to 2013 from January to December. And this may blow your mind if you haven't seen this chart before, because based on history, October has previously shown to be a bullish month, and I'm going to show you what I mean once we take a look at that chart. But let's briefly look at the institutional inflows, for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So check this out. The institutional inflows report that volumes associated with digital asset investment products rose by 9.6% in September. Now, meanwhile, the weekly product inflows rose to 69.7 million, which is the highest since May 2021. Extremely bullish in my opinion. And so Bitcoin-based products saw the highest level of inflows out of any other asset, averaging 31.2 million per week. That's a lot of money, which could result in an upside going into the last quarter of 2021. And so I'm going to blow up this average weekly net flow asset chart here, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. All right, and so as we can see here, the average weekly net flow by asset, we can see we got Bitcoin, which is around that average of 31.2 million. You got Solana, that is close to 20 million. Ethereum, which is around that 10 million, and so forth and so on. And so all of this money is inflowing into some of the top cryptocurrencies in the space today. This definitely leaves signs that this could be a trend going into the month that we are in right now, which is October. But now I want to show you the chart that will kind of show you the Bitcoin monthly return from January to December, going all the way back to 2013 to the current date of today. So let's check it out. Okay, so now we're looking at the Bitcoin monthly return price chart, and this is coming from October 1st, 2021. Now, if we just go all the way to 2013, and if we go over to September, we can see that typically September are rocky months for Bitcoin and also the cryptocurrency space, because Bitcoin still controls most of the dominance in the cryptocurrency space. Now, if we go over to October, and we're not going to include 2021 yet because we're just going into this month, but we can see we are already positive for the month of October. But if we just include 2013, the 2020, which are 8 years, we can see 6 out of the 8 years we are bullish in October. Now, if we move to November, 6 out of the 8 years we are bullish again. So if we look at how history has shown, based off of history, we could potentially see another bullish month for October, and we could see another bullish month for November. And remember this, history doesn't always repeat itself, but most of the time it does in some type of form or fashion. So just keep that in mind. But now let's dive into one thing that us as investors should pay attention to, that I definitely think at some point in the future it will affect the markets. Now, Robert Kiyosaki made a huge statement regarding how October could potentially be, the biggest crash in the stock market history. Now, one thing I do believe is if the stock market completely crashes, I do believe that will affect the crypto market as well, just because it's so small and they are correlated a little bit as well. And so let's briefly take a look at this article on Forbes. So according to this Forbes article, the headline says, "Shutdown looming. The author warns get gold, silver, Bitcoin, and Ethereum before the biggest stock market crash in history." And so let's go ahead and move on down to some of the highlighted points. And so the giant stock market crash coming in October, Kiyosaki said last week. And if you're unfamiliar with Robert Kiyosaki, he is the author of the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. And so Kiyosaki goes on to say he isn't planning on selling gold, silver, or Bitcoin, but warned he thinks they may crash too. Now, I will have to say if the stock market crashes, it will definitely affect the crypto market as well. And so others have also cautioned the fast approaching debt ceiling could roil markets that have soared to all-time highs this year. Now, the debt ceiling is a real thing. This is a major domino that could definitely turn things completely to the downside, and this is for traditional and crypto in my opinion. And so the last part here says there has not been too much optimism in the US markets recently, and the political outlook looks difficult as deadlines approach on the US government's $28.4 trillion debt ceiling, which is again threatened with a breach unless legislators can agree to raise the limit. Now, as debt continues to rise, it gets harder to raise rates on that amount of debt because it has to be paid back. And so this is a major domino that I think at some point will fall, and it will affect both markets in a major way. Now, with that being said, is it going to be the end of the markets? No. But will things be in shambles at that time? Most likely. But with that being said, if you listen to the other video I put out, if you're in the crypto space, don't let this make you panic sell. But if you're not prepared or aware of what could happen, it makes it a lot easier to panic sell when you don't know why things are crashing. And so this is why I just wanted to put that out. Besides all of the positive bullish news, think about this major domino. And so the question today is, if the market goes to the upside, based off of how history has shown, are you prepared to take profits on any of your positions? And if the market goes to the downside, are you prepared mentally, and are you prepared to double down and bunker down on the positions that you're holding? And so definitely those are two questions that you want to ask yourself, because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. Even though we got evidence of bullish news, we also got a little evidence of some FUD as well. So it just kind of depends what way the market goes. But right now the market is looking extremely bullish. And so before we get out of here, real quick, I do now offer coaching and mentoring. Check out the Patreon link in the description if you are interested in that. And if you haven't connected with me on my social platforms on Twitter or Instagram, definitely consider connecting with me at Mike the Investor. And also be mindful of all of the spammers out there. Please be careful. But that's all I got for you. Remember to stay inspired, stay motivated, always invest in yourself, and I'm out.